I opened this morning, so you know what that means. I'm covered in poop and wearing pajamas. But it also means I'm in one of them moods again today. One of those moods where I act crazy, but really I want to be right there. Covered up. Sleeping. But I'm not. This week we were talking about war anime, and those of you who don't know, I am probably the weirdest sociopath you'll ever meet because I prefer war anime. I like war in anime more than the average person probably should, considering I don't like war in real life. I like war in anime. So, the first war I'm going to talk about is from the series. Now and then, here and there, I like this series. Anyway, I like the series a lot. It is probably one of the most emotional wars that I've ever come across, and I will say it's actually more emotional than the war in Gundam 00. The wars in Gundam 00. And now those of you who are like, what? But you say Gundam 00 is like the most emotional anime you've ever seen. This is true because of the characters, not because of the war, because of the characters. This is more emotional because of the war, not necessarily because of the characters. The characters make it emotional, but the actual essence of the war is quite uncomfortable in this series. It's about fighting children. Fighting children! Little children who fight in war! This is definitely a very strange anime, but it's so good. And it's one of those life-altering animes where you finish it and you kind of look at your life and you never quite look at your life the same way ever again, which I think is an incredibly powerful tool. This anime really does something to a person, and it's really amazing, really awesome. So check this out if you haven't. You can watch it legally online. The link will be below. Check it out. It's really worth the 13 episodes. Totally worth it. The second war I'm going to talk about is actually the second war of this series, and it is part of the movie, not the series, but that would be Endless Waltz. The Endless Waltz War is amazing because it's the point of the war is exactly the point of the name of the movie. It is an endless waltz. War is an endless waltz, and that's what Gundam Wing tries to portray to you, is that there's a line in there from the narrator in the movie, and I can't remember who actually says it in the series. Somebody says it in the series, that as long as mankind exists, there will always be battle, which makes it an endless waltz! So yeah, this is an amazing war, because it basically is the same war that they've been fighting in the year before, but it's a different person. I don't know, like, it's just so cool, because like the first war you've got trays, and you've got cans, and you've got Zeks, and you've got all kinds of people that they're fighting, but then they go into the second war and it's the same war, but it's a different person, different people behind it. And I think that in itself makes this one of the most amazing wars that I've ever seen in my life, because it's the essence of it, the point of this war, which I think was fantastic. The next war I'm going to talk about is actually also the second war in a series, and it's also the same franchise as before, and it's awesome, and I love it, and it shouldn't surprise anybody. It's the second season of Gundam 00, which means it's the second war of Gundam 00. There are 3 wars in Gundam 00, first season, second season, and the movie. Whereas in Gundam Wing, the first series is one big war with all kinds of things attached to it, and then there's the movie Endless Waltz, which is a second war. But this second war is probably better than the first war, I think, just because I like it better, but also because the bad guy in this war, the main bad guy, which will spoil the end of the first season for you, so I'm not going to say anything about that one. I'm not going to say who it is, but the second bad guy is probably one of my favorite bad guys in the entire world of anime because of the fact that he controls everything. He controls the Gundam Meisters. He controls his side of the war. And not in the sense of he's, you know, in control of them, but he's just one step ahead of them and keeps trapping them. And it's just one of those things where it's like, God, there is no escape for these guys. What's gonna happen? Like, you actually wonder what's gonna happen, and it's so good. So good. So good. So good. So good! The final war I'm gonna talk about is also from Gundam 00, and that is the movie war. I'm gonna go ahead and put up a spoiler tag, but if you haven't seen the movie yet, it's on the back of the movie, so if you want to go into the movie completely blindly, then mute. If you don't want to, if you don't care about one minor plot point spoiled, then don't you. Whatever. The Gundam 00 movie is about aliens. And it's the first time in Gundam that aliens have ever surfaced. Gundam has always and never been about human conflict. But the point of the series of Gundam 00 was to learn how to communicate with each other. So the movie was just the next step, where it's the ability to communicate with beings outside of Earth. And that was an amazing kind of journey. And I was really worried about the aliens at first, but the aliens really turned out to be really cool. They weren't what I was expecting, like, at all. I was spoiled about the alien thing at Youmacon 2010, and so I was like really concerned because I was like, well, it's this and that and the other thing, and I'm thinking, oh lord. But it was not what I was expecting. It was totally amazing. And it's not even about the aliens, it's about the communication. Kind of like I was saying about Gundam Wing, trying to teach you that war is an endless waltz. This series tries to teach you that the way to escape war is learning how to communicate with one another. And it's a really cool journey. Those are my wars that I want to talk about. If I had to pick one absolute favorite, the default will be Gundam 00 because it's my favorite anime series and my favorite anime movie. But honestly, if I'm going by war specifically, I'm gonna go with the Now and Then Here and There war, just because of the fact that it was the most emotional war. So I'm gonna go with that, and Psychic Kid will see you tomorrow if I ever get this video uploaded. Ever. Good night. Hi, Cosmo.